What is up, Titan Nation? Sorry for the delay, but we are live. We're in the building. Had an awesome day today. Got to go to training camp. We got a lot of footage for you guys, our own footage from the Titan Upload Network, not other people's footage. So it's cool to be able to get that. I see there's a lot of people already in here. There's like 12 people waiting. Thank you guys so much for the support of my channel, of the Titan Upload Network and everything. Let's get a little intro rolling in there and get it hyped. Then we're gonna bring in Titans for Life. I think he's got a special guest with him as well, so we'll have him on for a second too. I'm gonna play this little thing that the Titans put out. Let's get it hyping here. Let's go Tighten up.
Monday, back with the pads, back with the big boys, back with the hitting. That's football, baby.
All right, we're going to go ahead and bring James in, and looks like he has got a special guest with him as well.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. Had an exciting day. But I heard from somebody that Xavier has been killing it out there on the football field.
Yeah, he's got a big game on Monday, so tomorrow afternoon. So he's going to have to. He's just came in to say hi to everybody and wave and everything. He's got to get in bed because he's got a long day of school followed by a football game. So he's going to go out there and ball out. Are you dedicating this to anybody special? You going to dedicate this game to anybody special?
Uh-oh.
You don't know? You don't know yet, huh? Well, this team that they play a team here in town that likes to throw the ball, and they've been using Xavier as a safety. Right now he's cornerback, safety, sometimes linebacker.
Right.
So
you already got a comment there, Xavier. Steve says, "Get after it, young man." And Grandizer says, "Hi, James. Hi, Xavier. Future first round pick of the Titans."
Yeah,
so there you go.
He's tall for his age. He's 11. He's 5'5", and is a hair under 100 pounds. And if anybody wants to feed him, it will cost you an arm and a leg.
Well, we'll have to. I'll have to come out there and see a game sometime, man. While the season's still going on, I'll have to come out there and come see you play sometime.
Can you hear him? He says he's gonna come out and see you play.
Okay.
All right, buddy. I think it's time for you to head off to bed, don't you?
Okay.
Tighten up, bub. And can you take the pups with you?
Yeah.
All right.
That's awesome, man. He's an awesome kid, man, from what I've heard and everything. I'll have to come see him for real. I really want to come see him play. That'd be a lot of fun.
He likes to ball out there, It's funny. He seems to run half speed when he doesn't understand what he's doing, but once he gets it, man, I tell you, he is real fast. He's something special. He read a play this weekend that was I didn't read it until it would have been too late, but he read it from the snap. He's like, Dad, I just saw something that didn't look right from the formation. And he goes, and as soon as he snapped it, I noticed that the tight end kind of split out and the running back stayed in and blocked. He goes, I knew as soon as that happened, I had to get back. So he was playing safety at that point and reached up there and grabbed an INT. So
that's awesome, man. That's really cool. And well, I know you've coached him up a lot, so that's probably why he's so good as well. But so, man, we had an awesome day. I got to go with Titans time podcast, which is Tyler. And huge shout out to him and his wife, Carrie. She gave up her ticket for me. So imagine that. So it was cool, man. It was really cool. We got it felt like it was the VIP treatment, right? They gave us these little badges. You know, we looked legit. Got a bunch of autographs after the game. Got my Kinsey autograph right here. Got the Kevin Byard autograph under there. So all in all, a success, man. Like you go into and I'll let everybody in the chat know how it goes down if you haven't gone yet. So you walk in the media entrance. I took me and Titans Time took a picture by the media entrance. I tweeted it like I was actual media. But but you go in, you go in and they have a whole kitchen with food, not just snacks, like actual food, breakfast, bagels, lunch stuff, all types of whole coolers of drinks. They got a whole open area where you could take your picture. It's top notch, man, top notch. It was awesome. Then you could go on the field. You go on the field. There's Tannehill. That was cool. He was actually this kid on the left here. I posted this on Twitter and I got a comment, and it was actually the kid's dad. He was like, "Man, I'm so glad you got that pick. That's awesome." And so it just happened to be the guy's dad. Got to meet Mason again. So that was cool. And we'll talk about that later. I kind of interviewed Mason a little bit. I wish I could have got it on camera, but I didn't want to impose, And there's Taylor. Taylor Lewan is a massive man. He is a massive man in person. Like, I've seen him before close up, but maybe not that close up. And he looks good, man. He was playing pretty well out there as far as that goes. So I got a bunch of video we're gonna roll out. Like I said, it was my video that I took. You weren't supposed to take video, but really they were really concerned about the 11-on-11 and 7-on-7s. That's what they were really hammering on, because they didn't care during the drills. Like I wouldn't suggest doing it. If you do it, be sneaky about it. Don't be just stupid about it. I actually had a guy on Twitter tag every single media person and said, "Didn't you see the rules? You're not supposed to take any video." And they tagged like every single media person, like telling on me. I was like, "Dude, come on, man. Don't follow me if you don't want to." You know what I'm saying? Like, get on with all that. So whatever, Hey, we're media, right? We're just not credentialed. We cover the team just as much as anybody else does. So that's my rant for the day. But Mason Kinsey made a phenomenal catch in the end zone, bobbled it. It was tipped, and then he caught it down, and I almost got it on video. And I wasn't thinking about they don't want you taking video of 7-on-7, blah, 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 because other teams can see it. I'm a fan, I'm a fan at heart. I wasn't really thinking about that. And so I'll play the video. It's funny. You can hear the guy come up to me at the end, and I almost had the shot. It stops right when Kinsey's about to make the play, and I didn't even know he made the play because the guy distracted me. But I think I have it here. Let's see. But it's funny, man. It's funny. Like, the guy, you can hear him come up to me and be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Let me see if I can find it here. I think I loaded it in here. But I was so mad, dude. I almost had it. And I didn't get it. Where the heck is it at? I don't know. I'll try to load it in here in a little bit. But you can hear the guy going like, "I told you, no video." And he came up to me and he's like, "I've told you 10 times. I said, "Dude, I don't even know who you are. I've never seen you in my life. I don't know who you are." I guess he was getting pissed because everybody was trying to, take video and stuff, which is understandable, man. Like, come on, But anyways, all in all, it was a great day. We had a lot of fun. Lot of notes to come out there. And we'll go over it. First, I want to play this. So it's kind of a little far away, but you could see this. It's a great play by Phillips from Willis. And I want to play this other one from Tanny to NWI. Kind of look in the corner, you'll see what a great catch.
Got him. Yeah. What a catch.
It's on the left side of the screen there.
Yeah.
But
so who was that
so
he was going against?
I don't I had it earlier. Let me see if we can.
Got him. Yeah. What a catch.
I think it was Shakur Brown.
Okay.
I think that's who it was. And a lot of people, like the coaches, are apparently really high on Shakur Brown right now, like saying that he could possibly make the team and stuff like that. So we'll just kind of get started with some of the things that I saw. James, you can, chime in and give your thoughts on everything. First of all, I want to start with Derrick Henry, just to kind of get it out of the way. Derrick, he's not really doing the 11 on 11 or 7 on 7 drills. I don't know if it's been like that the whole training camp. I don't know what you know about that, but I think they're just trying to preserve him. But the dude looks bigger, faster, and stronger than ever. I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane, man.
What I've been told is it's not really that they're wanting to preserve him. Is that they've got? I mean, they've surely they by now they've got enough film and tape to know what he can and cannot do, what what his strengths and weaknesses are. Really what I've been told is they're just trying to see out of the other running backs that we have who they're going to keep. I mean, they really have to get that um, get that down. That they're not going to be able to keep them all. So who are they going to keep? Who are they going to get rid of? Who are they going to send down to the practice squad? That kind of stuff. And that they're really wanting to get a look at that. They know that Derrick Henry's ready. He knows he's ready. So my thoughts on that is that I've been told really he's not on a pitch count or anything like that. It's just we need to see what else we have.
Right. And I don't know. I didn't get much video of him because he wasn't out there too long. I got one of them warming up here. I think this was with Tanny.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That's about all I got of Henry. But I saw some other footage earlier. There was some cool footage on Teron Davenport's Twitter, and I saw him today. I saw all the media, Buck and all them. But there was a tweet on his showing Henry doing the little high step drills where they step over those foam things.
Yeah.
And dude, he looks so fast, man. Like I'm so excited to see what he's going to do this season, man. I think it's kind of like his redemption year. Question I have for you, man. Do you see them relying on him? I mean, they used him a lot the year before.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a type of offense that they're going to do the same thing? Or are we going to see kind of a little different look with the passing game and stuff?
Well, I mean, my thoughts on it from sources that I have are saying that it's going to look a little different. The formations may be similar because I mean there's only so many formations you can have. I mean, but I look for them initially to be in quite a bit of 12 personnel. One running back, two tight ends, double tight end sets, things like that, and use the tight ends a lot to kind of pressure that safety and pressure those linebackers. And that's going to free up Henry just a little bit more for more impactful runs. But I don't initially see a whole lot of change. But I do think when it comes to the passing game, we're going to see a lot more dynamic passing game. I think we're going to see a lot more play action than we're used to seeing. Um, so my anticipation for Derrick is that Derrick he I don't know if I don't think we'll see him on the field less, but I do think we'll see a few fewer carries per game. I think last year at the start he was averaging 22, 24 carries a game. I'd have to look up I kept track of it, but 22, 24. I think you're going to see it cap out around 22. Um,
Okay.
and it's not just that that they're trying to preserve him or anything. Once again, we drafted a running back that can catch the ball out of the backfield. We
Right.
have other things that we can really late in the season have an impact for if we get them the reps that they need in game and in practice.
And somebody that stood out to me too was Hassan Haskins.
Mhm.
That dude, he's big, man. I mean,
Oh
he's a
yeah,
big running back. And he's impressive, like he's pretty quick for his size, I mean, I feel like he's probably more of a bruiser or whatever, but he's pretty quick. He can catch and stuff like that, but it's cool seeing him out there and the possibility of having a guy like him be able to back him up. Because
yeah,
we love Foreman, right? I
oh
mean,
yeah.
he was a fan favorite. Um, we all hated to see him go, but running backs in this league, backup running backs, you don't want to pay them, you know, over a couple million a year or whatever. So it was just made sense. But Haskins is intriguing, you know.
Yeah. Yes, he's one of those guys that if he works out well, look for some 21 personnel. Look for things like that. Where maybe they flex him out of the backfield and 21 personnel, so that he comes out of the backfield as kind of uh, going into the flat and things like that. But I don't think that would be early in the season. I think that would be later in the season, just because he's got to get used to the tempo and the speed of the NFL is so much different than college. Yeah, I just he played at what, Michigan, wasn't it? Yeah, Michigan.
Yeah,
Um, I don't see, even when you play at Michigan and you're going against, top-notch college talent, it's not the same as going against, everybody, out there in the NFL is fast and strong. So he's got to get
yeah,
used to the speed of the game. So, I would start watching for, do they put Henry and Haskins in at the same time later in the season to kind of give your linebackers and your safeties something to really think about? Do I
yeah.
really want to try to attack this in this way?
And as far as the goal line, something I noticed too, I noticed a lot of plays like on the 11 and 11, where they were running a lot of options with Willis,
Hmm.
designed QB runs like in goal line situations. Um, I noticed that in practice, which makes me think that there's probably some plays in there that are going to be designed for him to do during the season. Maybe if the opportunity arrives, or 2 point conversion, or something of that nature.
Yeah, I,
Um,
I think we're going to probably get into Willis later, aren't we? Talking
Definitely,
about, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
definitely, because I got some stuff on him.
I'll hold my remarks for that.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna get to some of the comments here. There's 34 people in the house. We've had up to 40. You guys were already waiting, commenting. So please hit that like button, tighten up that like button, as we say on the Tighten Upload Network, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Go give James a follow on his page. We got some news about to come out, James. We got some pretty cool stuff in the works. We can't release it yet, but we got some exciting news. We're expanding. We're trying to make this thing a legit operation. All right. And, we're working on it hard behind the scenes, guys. We're really trying to make this network a go-to place for Titans fans and for Titans fans out there to become part of what we do here, become part of the channel, of our channels and the network as well. So you guys stay tuned for that. Let's get to some of these comments, man. So I'm gonna kind of scroll back here a little bit. Stanley Wilson's in the building. Tighten up to you. Mark says connect your mic. I hope it's working good now. Feel like it is. Nobody said anything. Titan Fox is in the building. There was a fox at training camp today. So there's this really weird, I don't know if it was a fox or wolf. I posted it on Twitter, Titans Fox. I don't know if you saw it. I might have posted on somebody else's, tagged the wrong person or something. But anyways, because I don't think you responded to it yet. But there was like some fake fox sitting on the outside. I was kind of randomly placed. I don't know if it's like an inside joke or what, but maybe you know about that Titan Fox. I don't know. Jeremy Squire, tighten up. I just purchased my tickets for the game against the Raiders. Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm about to purchase mine for the Tampa Bay preseason game. Titan Upload Network's in the building. Titan Upload. He said, I think he was talking to Xavier there.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck on his game. Grandizer, man, this guy has been in every one of our videos lately. He follows, I think Real Fan Sports is who he hooked me up with those guys, and he's just a big follower, so we appreciate it. Steve Pohill says, I think he was talking about Xavier there. Let's see here. The 96 Bull smells like preseason. MB, longtime follower of the network. The Pelican, hope he wins. Talking about Xavier again. The man, the myth, the legend, Titan Anderson is in the building. So I think he just had a show. And you guys also know that we're doing a show every week. Me and TA, the Rossi Report with Titan Anderson. So probably typically do those on Mondays. So you guys, keep tuning into that. It's been a success so far. Sin City Titans in the building. Shane Loki. Kind of go through these quick, guys. Ryan Harris is in the building. Shout out to Ryan. The Jump Past TN. D.S45-70. He says,
sounds like a plug.
This was when I was, Rant, and he's got a picture of Bubbles on there from the Trailer Park Boys. But this was from my rant earlier. He says, he's got a picture of Bubbles. Whoa, why is my YouTube playing on my phone? Anyways, he says, I get they want to get fans out there and stuff, but in my opinion, if they're going to be that strict about people videoing, then they shouldn't even let people in. Like, what the hell do they expect? Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, the drills are not a big deal. I mean, they're just, everybody does those drills across the league. I get why they don't. Honestly, I wasn't taking any video of the 11-on-11s or 7-on-7s up until I saw Kinsey was lined up in a goal line situation, and I ran down there just because I wanted to get it and send it to Janet and all them. But you could talk about this a little bit. You probably got a little more insight on why it's probably maybe a good thing that they don't want video. I don't know.
Well, it's essentially you don't want them to get a good look at your players. From a trained eye, you can see a lot of things. You can see like, is their footwork any good? Are they any kind of tendencies? If you put that with any game film you may have, but really and truly, it's about like putting it's like putting a screen door on a submarine. The rest of the submarine's fine. You put a screen door on it, and it doesn't matter. So what they're trying to do is just, I mean, it's literally the least. It should be literally the least of their worries. Um, just simply because you've got how many hundreds of people there watching anyway.
Right.
And then you have the national sports media, which are, that there are times where they're allowed to film. I mean, really and truly, you're not going to get enough out of those videos. I think it's just, someone being overly cautious. You're just not going to get enough out of those videos to really do anything.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but it is what it is. Teams do that from time to time. It doesn't make any sense to me, because you're going to have, you got their college film. Most of these kids have high school film. You're going to see their progression through that. Then you get into the pros. If they've played a season or whatever, you're going to have video on it. I mean,
Right.
these guys are these NFL people are good at what they do, and they can take 15 or 20 plays and break down a player pretty well.
The guy that was that caught me, he was undercover, man, because most of them had the little tag on,
Yeah.
and I didn't even notice he was right behind me, because the other times I was kind of holding my phone down, but like nobody cared during the drills. They weren't like parading, and like trying to check. But it was funny, man. It was funny. I would have got kicked out to get that shot, though. I'll tell you that. I would have got kicked out to get that shot. Shane Loki says, I can't stand Buck Rising or Paul Kaharski. I'm sure you share this sentiment with a lot of people. I don't mind them. I mean, it is what it is. They're doing their jobs, I actually like PK. I've actually kind of grown. He's grown on me a little bit, just because he tells it like it is, and he's got his own network. Like, he doesn't answer to anybody. He does his own thing. Buck's got to answer to 104.5 The Zone. A lot of these guys, they work for Jim White's got to answer to the Titans. He works for the Titans. So I think
I just like Paul's. I just like his dark sense of humor. I mean, he's got kind of a dark sense of humor, and it makes me laugh.
Right.
But Buck, I mean, and Paul's been in this business for a long time. He's not a spring chicken in this business.
No.
But Buck, I just don't, some of the things he says, it's obvious to me that it comes from a place of, well, I really don't know, but I've got to say something.
Right.
When he was talking, what particularly got me was when he was talking about fans in the new system they have, the digital ticket system, and he was talking about how the fans were just, essentially stupid and couldn't get through and all that.
Yeah, he does.
When it turns out that the Titans themselves said, "Hey, it was our fault," you didn't hear him go back and say, "Oh, I'm sorry," to the fans. That right there bugs me. When you make a mistake, just own up to it and say, "Hey, look, I didn't understand that this was, a connection issue and all that kind of stuff." That right there bugged me.
Sometimes he wants to bring political stuff into, like, I don't know. It's like, dude, we're talking sports. Anyways, Sin City Titan, what's up, my friend? He said, how did MPF look with the ones? I was trying to figure out who MPF is. You know who that is?
NPF.
I was trying to figure out if y'all know in the chat, let us know. We'll come back to an answer at Sin City. I was trying to figure out, like, what's the name, the initials, who's it for? Titans Fox says Haskins is the new foreman. We liked him for coming to the rescue. By the way, coaching staff can bring in a brand new player and make them a top rusher. Yeah, man, our running backs coach is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Josh says, yo, what's up, Rossi, my fellow Nolensville native? What's up, man? I didn't know you were from Nolensville, so that's cool, man. Let's see. Titan South says Tannehill 3,500, 30 TDs. If Tannehill has 30 TDs and 9 interceptions, we're going to the Super Bowl. I mean, if that's the case, and that means we're having a pretty darn good season, as long as the defense does well. The Power Hour. What's up, Power Hour? Shout out to Rossi and James. And I know he's got some exciting news he's going to be revealing soon.
Nick, he's talking about Nicholas Pete Frere, the one I can't
Oh,
pronounce.
Petit Frere. Yeah, I didn't really focus on the line much. I was more focused on like the skill players and stuff like that. But I will say, Radens, I did notice him a few times. He looks good. He looks like he's in good shape. And it looks like he, as of right now, it's his job to lose, so because he was pretty much starting with the ones and everything in that position. Janet Kinsey's in the building. What's up, Janet? I was sending her pictures earlier. And all that. We'll go ahead and play the few little Mason clips I get just because Janet's in here. I got a few clips of him. Let's see here. This was him catching a little out route in drills. I think. And another one here where he's running a route. So sorry they're quick. I couldn't really get the good ones where he was like doing the 11-on-11s and stuff. But he did catch a TD pass in the end zone that was really nice. So shout out to him, man. Mason's a class act. He took pictures with me after the game, signed my hat. So cool, man. Shouted out you. So just a class act, man. Him and his folks. So let's get on some other topics, man. Let's see here. Get the comments. We'll get caught up on, man, you guys are killing it tonight. And Janet Kinsey with the $4.99. You don't have to do that, Janet. She's so awesome. The $4.99 super chat. So thank you so much. That's amazing. So the next topic, bringing up the wide receivers. We talked about this till we're blue in the face. But seeing it in person today, James, and I wish you could have been there with us, man, because I would have loved to get your analysis of everything in person and you see it yourself. But Phillips looks really good,
Yes.
Phillips looks really good. Now there is everybody, all the Titans fans, a lot of people out there pretty much assume that it's either Phillips or Kinsey's spot, I kind of have a different theory on that. I don't necessarily believe that wholly. I think they could both make the team. I think it's a long shot, but I think they both still could make the team. There's a couple guys battling at the end. And while we're on Phillips, I do want to show, I have a couple pretty good Phillips. Well, this I showed earlier, but we'll play it again and we'll talk about it. And he also made like a 43-yard catch where he burned, I can't remember who it was. It was with the first team. He was with the first team all day. So the question is, this one's for you. Will the Titans keep 6 or 7 receivers? And who will round out those last couple spots?
I'm thinking
just your opinion on it.
I'm thinking they're going to keep 7. Just it's after their experience last year, which they kept 6. So wasn't it 6 last year? Yeah, 6. I just don't see them wanting a repeat of last year. Injuries happen, and they're going to be cautious with those things. Where I see the wide receiver group, I think Cody is probably seeing his last day he's seeing his last days as a Titans receiver. He just hasn't produced what they really wanted and what they thought he was going to be. So that's the one that I think is probably, on the outside looking in, he's going to have to do something really kind of crazy to get in there.
Right.
The other one I've gone back and forth on is whether they keep Dez or Josh. Um, that's the one I've gone back and forth on. I really don't see there being room for both of them. I don't see Des Fitzpatrick and Josh Malone kind of both making the team. I see. The thing is that Kyle Phillips and Mason Kinsey, they have similar games, but they do different things. I think you can, from what I understand, and sources inside the organization are telling me that the one thing that Mason can do that Kyle uh, just hasn't shown, or they haven't put in a position to do, is play that Z receiver. So they've had him in they've had Mason Kinsey. I saw him line up a little bit in the Z last year in preseason, and I've heard
Right.
that he's been lining up a lot in that Z receiver position. So, and that's a little bit different than lining up as a slot. I see more versatility in Mason than I do in Kyle, but at the same time, uh, punt returning and punt return has been a huge issue, and so has the slot. It's been a huge issue with the
Yeah.
Titans. Um, we just haven't had it, and both of these guys are dynamic. They are really good at both punt returning and slot receiving. I think Mason has a little bit of an edge in the fact that he can run the Z pretty efficiently.
Yeah. And I saw Dez today. I mean, he wasn't like super impressive to me. I mean, he was, I mean, I don't know. I didn't see much of him. I didn't see enough to really form a a valid opinion on him or anything. And obviously, I haven't been to camp every day. I just see videos like everybody else does. Seeing him in person, I mean, I don't know. I don't see like that flash and whatever that you need in the NFL.
Yeah,
I think he is on the hot seat for sure. Racy is intriguing to me.
yeah.
Dude, Racy McMath is a big human being. Like, he was standing right in front of me and Tyler, and shout out to TK. He was there today too, and Preston was there. But dude, the dude is massive. I mean, he looks almost as big as Derrick Henry. I mean, the guy is huge. He's like what, 6'3", 230 or something. Runs a 4.38 40.
Yeah.
If he can put it together and not just be like the only thing he could do is go routes, if he could put it together and get his route running ability up to snuff, man, I mean, he could do something in this league.
Yeah, every time I've seen him run a route, especially if it wasn't a go, if it was like an in breaking route or something like that, he doesn't seem to he rounds his breaks, and when you're, like I said, once again, college is different than than the pros. If you don't run if you don't run the route, you don't drop that butt, you don't get out of that cut in the step, then the defender's on you.
Right.
So he just has not been a very good route runner, and that's what's held him up for a long, long, long time. He's always had the speed. I mean, you can't coach or teach speed. He's always had the speed. He's always had the ability to catch. He just hasn't been able to run all the different routes in the route tree that they need him to run.
Yeah. And Steve makes a good point. Dez has gotten better, but has he gotten good enough? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, um, we'll see. Dez is a clunky big guy who would be a wash of a roster spot. And Thanks for tuning in, Bro Schmo. If y'all don't know Bro Schmo, you need to go follow this guy. He is incredible. He analyzes players. He's huge into the draft. If you guys ever want draft knowledge, he's amazing. He's got a huge channel, and we appreciate his support at the Titan Upload Network. He's been on Titan Upload's channel. Hopefully, we can get him in on here one day too. But I value this guy's opinion. I do, and I agree with him. So back to this. So somebody made something earlier, made a comment earlier. I want to say it was Titans Fox. Let me see if I can scroll back here. Okay, Titan Fox said Woods, Burks, Phillips, NWI, McMath, and Kinsey, Dez on the practice squad in case of injury, maybe Malone. That way we can keep an extra running back for special teams. What do you think of those 6, man? Would you be happy with that?
If I were going to keep, if there was one guy who I might not, I think you need to keep, maybe Malone. Yeah. But then you look at those guys there, who do you take out? Out of all of those, I think, I hate to say it, he was a decent performer for us last year, but NWI is the one guy who I kind of go, he's the most expendable.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's the most expendable. With Mac, if you look at McMath is just, wow, he's fast. He just can't run a lot of routes. So if you need a kind of a bigger guy who's fast, that can run routes, then that's Malone. That's Burks and Malone. So
yeah,
I just, it's one of those things where it's going to depend on their install of their offense, which, all of these things that I'm saying are predicated on the fact of what I'm hearing when it comes to what type of offense they're looking to run.
yeah.
I'm not saying any of those guys are bad. I'm not saying any of those guys don't deserve to make the team. But what I'm saying is if you had your choice of a guy, a guy who's been there, done that, has, a lot more experience, is a little bit better dynamic playmaker than NWI, then you look at Malone.
Yeah.
My personal feelings on Dez is that, my understanding is he did not put forth a lot of effort to learn last year.
Yeah.
And it may be too little too late.
I like NWI, man. I saw him today, and he was just making plays. I think with him, though, they're going to – obviously, I mean, if you look at it from now, where we're at now in the season, and the preseason games are going to show a lot. Like, they're going to, show a lot about – because these guys are going to get a ton of opportunities, like all these wide receivers, maybe, Woods probably won't play as much, but I imagine Burks is going to be in there quite a bit too. If you start the season now, this is what I've heard, that, NWI and Woods are going to be your number 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And that's concerning. I mean, I love NWI. Don't get me wrong, but as a number 2, I love NWI as a utility guy you could line up here and there and bring in as a breather and make plays and stuff. NWI is great. He's made his way. He's made his own way. He's done it, But like as a number 2, every down receiver, I mean, we kind of saw at the end, some during the season, where he just wasn't cut out for some of these starting DBs out there. I'm not saying he's bad. Don't get me wrong in the chat. I know we all love NWI, but as a number 2, but do you think, and here's a question for you as well, and we'll move on after this, but do you think Burks is going to start out the season as? I mean, it depends on the preseason, I guess, but is he going to start out the season in number 1 or 2 position there?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
When you can't practice in training camp, you can't, the mini camps and the training camps and the rookie mini camp. When you can't participate, you miss a lot of things by doing right. It's one thing to tell somebody to do it. It's another thing to show them how to do it. It's a completely different thing when you're putting it all together in those mini camps and those rookie camps. Now, I love NWI, and that may be what saves his job is the fact that he can go out there and do it, and Burks can't.
yeah,
So that is, I'm unsure that I'm just unsure of the wide receiver group as a whole because it's going to depend on do they keep 6 or 7? Where do they cut that extra spot from? And how many running backs they want to keep, how many defensive line they want to keep. Those to me are the ones that are going to determine if they keep 6 or 7 wide receivers. That's
yeah,
what's going to determine it. If they think they've got a guy like Dylan Radens who can move out and can play, 3, maybe 4 positions on that offensive line, then the thing is do you need that extra offensive lineman? Because they kept an extra offensive lineman last year. So do you keep that extra offensive lineman? Traditionally, that's not what the Titans have done. Traditionally, we've had that utility guy that could go somewhere on the line, could go anywhere on the line. And
right.
they've generally kept 1 or 2 of those and kind of not had to have quite as many people on the offensive line. So I just I don't know. I mean, there's just not enough information on Burks right now because he hasn't participated in anything until now.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see, man. This preseason it's a big proving ground for a lot of these receivers. Get some game experience. Obviously they're going to be going up against other, backups and stuff like that. But I would love to get Broshmo's opinion on Kyle Phillips, just because I know, with his knowledge of, the draft and things like that, what he thought about Phillips coming out of draft. Why did he fall to the 5th round? If he's got that much skill. But he impressed me today, man. But Mason also impressed me too, so it's,
well, the knock on him was always that he was small. He was a smaller receiver, and that all he could play is essentially the slot.
Yeah.
And give you help on special teams. That was the reason why I think he fell, is that he couldn't go into the Z. He couldn't, and he surely couldn't play the X. So, you're just kind of, he's kind of shoot in to those things, to those types of offenses that use the slot a lot and needed a slot receiver. And, that there's, most teams have a guy who can play that already. So,
yeah. There was a tweet from Amani Hooker. This was last week, I guess, which I thought was interesting. He says, let's see, Bez, Mason Kinsey Stout, Reggie Roberson. Maybe this wasn't Hooker's tweet. Anyways, Hooker had a tweet. This was something different. Hooker was interviewed, and he said, who is giving you guys the most trouble? And it was Phillips and Kinsey, and I think he might have said Roberson as well or something like that. So it's interesting, like that.
I
So
mean,
we'll get on.
those smaller guys give you fits. They really do. I mean, because
Right.
like they know where they're going, and as a defensive back, you don't know where you don't know where they're going, but you're asked to cover them, and they're just so quick that by the time you realize what they're doing, it's too late. So they give you a lot of trouble, and that's the
Yeah.
reason why that's what the Titans have been missing. They've been missing that and a
Right.
tight end.
So speaking of the tight ends, we'll move on from this topic. I do want to show. I got a few little clips of drills of real tight ends. We have real tight ends now, which is amazing. Because TA
Oh,
did a whole show about, he broke it down to a T, how we did not have real tight ends last season. But this is kind of Hooper, Swaim, and Chig warming up. I think I might have something else of Hooper too, but here we go. A little one-handed snaggeroony by the Chig. I call him the Chig. Here's another one of the Chig out there. So let's talk about him for a second, man, and we'll talk about the tight ends. But the Chig impresses me. Like, he is impressive to watch in camp. Um, he's just an impressive athlete. If he can put it together in games, I think he's somebody, man, that's really exciting to watch. What are your kind of initial thoughts on the Chig?
he's 6'3", 6'4", somewhere around there, 240 ish. Um, Look, I hate. This is going to be interesting because that's why I say look for a lot of 12 personnel, because I think you have to have him on the field. I think
Yeah,
you have to have him on the field. If he can block just a little bit, I mean, he doesn't have to be a phenomenal blocker. That's just not what the Titans do, but he does have to be able to block. Um, but his pass catching ability, he's a beast. I've seen things about him where he's just, I mean, he is just dominating. He's faster than linebackers, so you can't really put a linebacker on him. He's as big as most linebackers. He's as big as safeties, so you can't body him up. But he's faster than most safeties, and he's just going to dominate any corner you put on him. So he puts you in a real bind. Um, I If he can put it together, once again, it's a big if. NFL is different. If he can put it together,
yeah,
I think that he is going to be a superstar. But he's got to put it all together. That he really does have to know how to block. The knock on Chig was that he wasn't a very good blocker, but he was an okay blocker. Well, that's what the Titans need. They
yeah,
need an okay blocker, a guy who's going to chip block, get out there in the flat, maybe get out there in a seam route or something like that, and try to you know give that safety something to think about. If I come down in the box and this guy and it's a play action, I'm kind of screwed because this guy's tall, he's fast, and he can catch.
yeah,
You know, so once again, it's going to come down to how the Titans implement this new. Well, I wouldn't call it a new offense. I would call it the same offense, but the focus is going to change a little bit, and
yeah,
it's a level of complexity that we didn't have, and I think the level of complexity is, I think it was because the OC just, Todd. I hate to, kind of compound on him, but Todd just didn't have the ability to call those passing plays, to call
yeah,
those routes. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a you guys all know I'm not a big fan of Todd Downing. I'm just not.
You're not alone, brother. You're not alone.
I'm not a big fan of him. Rumor is that he barely kept his job, and the only reason why they kept his job was simply because they agreed to bring in a passing game coordinator.
Yeah.
So there's when you talk to people in the Raiders organization, you talk to people who cover the Raiders, they didn't like him either.
I know. Yeah, I heard a lot about that too. Broshmo with a comment about Chig coming out of college. He said Chig will be amazing if they use him as that versatile F tight end like he should be. He was a great down there blocker at Maryland when he lined up in the backfield.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how they used him there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It is good to see Hooper out there. Hooper looks good. I want to say he had a touchdown catch today.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he's just making plays in camp.
Yep.
It's refreshing to see that we got, kind of that all around type of tight end too. And Swain was making some plays today too. So it's I feel like it's a good room,
Yeah.
And I thought I had a video. Oh, this is a cool video. Now this is Briley Moore. He's another tight end. He was with us, I think, last off season. Didn't make the team, but made a really good play here. So that was. I'll play it one more time. It's kind of quick. But that was Briley Moore there. So he's another guy that, kind of on the outside looking in as far as tight ends go. Get a few of these comments here, James.
Do you think we keep 2 or 3 tight ends?
I think we keep 3. I mean, that's typically what they. I mean, I don't. I mean, I guess they could put some on the practice squad, but I think they keep 3. I don't. They just. They like tight ends, I mean, I think. I think they should keep 3. I mean, I guess you can always call a guy up if you need it, but I just feel like probably some of the plays are going to be running. They might want to put Swaim in for some blocking situations if they're using 2 tight end sets in the running game.
Yeah.
Instead of putting Chig in, I don't know. So we'll see. Trevier says Chig was good at blocking in college. So we'll see.
He was
we'll
only good at blocking in college when they kind of lined him back far, like when he was
right, when he had momentum.
Yeah. And the reason why he was good is because he could actually see what the defensive player was doing. He doesn't have a great reaction time when it comes to being on the line of scrimmage and knowing what the guy is knowing what the defender is doing immediately, being able to stop that.
Yeah,
there's a big difference when you have time. When you have distance and time, you can see things.
Steve says 7 receivers, 3 tight ends, 2 running backs, 3 quarterbacks. Yeah, if they keep 2 running backs, but are you what about the fullback? They love the fullback and Carter. I don't know if you include that with the running backs or whatever. Yeah, Steve said, sorry, 3 running backs. So if they keep 7 receivers, they're going to have to take something somewhere else, whether that be, cornerbacks or whatever there. So let's get to some of these comments real quick before we move on. I'd like to go another 30 minutes if you can.
I can do another 30.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get it, or maybe about 20, 25 minutes, something like that. Let's see. I'm trying to go back to some of these comments here to get caught up with you guys. You guys are killing it in the chat. So thank you so much. Please subscribe, tighten up that like button, go follow James Titans for Life on YouTube, at the Big Sportsman. on Twitter there.
Yep.
So you guys go follow him. Ducky said, "Where's the new cat?" Yes, we do have a new member as well of the Titan Upload Network. His name is Titan Scruffy. I actually have him right here. So there we go. So there's Titan Scruffy. He's an awesome little cat, man. He was a little feral cat, and my roommate's mother had him hanging around, and he's cool, man. He's super sweet. But yeah, he's finally, the ants had gotten to him and everything, but we got him all fixed up. You know, he's looking good now. It looks like he cleaned up well, as they say. So he's an awesome little dude. So anyways, let's roll down here. Thank you guys again, man. Y'all rock. Y'all make this channel what it is, and it means a lot to us. SM Ducky with the typical "I hate Ryan Tannehill" comment. So always got to put that on the screen. That's a every show thing. Brutal laugh out loud. Good comment though. Henry is the focus of the offense that won't change. The playmakers capitalize on play action. Janet made a good comment earlier. She said the passing game coordinator is high on tight end heavy offense. Titans love the big body players. It's going to be exciting this year.
Yeah.
So, you know, Tim Kelly brings in that element. It is exciting to have him. So, I mean, thank God it's just not Downing again. You know, because it was pretty rough. Let's see here.
Yeah, if you want to see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Chig, if you can go back and watch the Iowa game when they played Iowa, that will show you what I'm talking about. Like, really and truly, if he's on the line of scrimmage, it's atrocious. It can get bad at times. But if you got him off the line of scrimmage a little bit, he has time to understand what's going on. But watch that Iowa game. I believe it was the Iowa game. So Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was Iowa.
So I want to get to I want to get to Malik Willis, because I know you've talked about him earlier. I do have a couple videos of him. Obviously, I've already showed some of him throwing some plays. This was him warming up. We'll roll this one, then we can get this.
Next to like Bargain Hut and all that same parking lot. But some kind of near Aldi, off of Old Florida.
Yeah, that's what I saw there. Was typical what I've been told. He has a tendency to throw off of his back foot, not shift his weight to his front as he's making the throw. That is causing inaccuracy. He has some footwork that really needs to be worked on. I mean, if you look at it, it's kind of sloppy. It's he's doing too much with his feet at times, and then sometimes he's not doing enough. It's really inconsistent footwork, and that's been the knock on him the whole time. It was that his inconsistency in his footwork causes his inaccuracies throwing. And you saw one, I think it was the first one you saw, which was way off the mark. Especially in an NFL game, it was off the mark. So I think his footwork needs a lot of work, and that's going to take some time to get people out of bad footwork habits. Going to take some time.
There was another video I have of him too. This was him and Ryan going back and forth.
Yeah. I mean, no, so
So kind of different things. I mean, yeah, he still has a ways to go. I mean, it just, when you're out there, he makes some great plays. Now there's some plays where they wow you. You know, he made a couple touchdown throws today. Him and Tannehill threw a back-to-back interception, literally back-to-back. A terrible throw by Tannehill. He's only thrown 2 picks so far this camp, so it's not been like last camp where he's just been throwing a pick every day or something. But that could be a lot of things too. But yeah, I mean, Willis does have a lot of ways to go. You saw the one. We'll play the one to Briley Moore again, just since we're on the topic of Willis. So you see in that one, he's more set, you know, and he zips the ball in there. But from what I've heard too, is that he throws the ball incredibly hard, like almost too hard on short route situations and immediate passes. Like it's like he doesn't have quite control of his arm strength is unbelievable. Is one of the best coming out of college in a while, but he throws it so hard on the short routes, it's hard for the receivers to catch it sometimes. Like he's literally like Brett Favre in it, you know? So a lot of these things come with time and practice, right? I mean, getting with the right coach. Are these things, do you think this is something that's coachable, the footwork thing? Is this going to be like a 2 or 3 year project type of player?
1 to 2 is where I would put it. I mean, just if you watch the ball come off his hand, it is like, you know, I don't think he means to throw it that hard, you know, and sometimes it's just the flick of the wrist that you see, and it's still coming out of there like a shot out of a cannon. There's not much that you know, that he knows how to do mechanically for that. There are mechanics that are involved with taking a little zip off the ball, giving your receiver a chance to get there. And sometimes you need the fastball, but you know, sometimes you don't, sometimes you don't need a 102-mile-an-hour fastball. Sometimes you need a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. You know, and I think he needs to start getting into that understanding and understand, hey, look, man, you're going to break somebody's finger throwing it. You're going to break their hand throwing it that fast. And he's and from what I understand from all the things that I've been told, he is a very coachable guy. I almost said kid, but you know, being as old as I am, you know, he's very coachable. He's a very likable, coachable guy. He really wants to go in there and learn. So it's not like he's bad. It's just that there's a lot to learn, and touch comes with reps. You know, comes with the reps. It comes with talking to your receiver, and your receiver going, "Hey, man, this, you know, take a little bit off of that. You know, my hand. You know, you know, it's
not going to make you friends in the receiver room.
No, it won't. You know, and you know, you see some of the greats do that. Brett Favre. You know, everybody said he always threw these BBs and stuff, but every once in a while you would see that there was a little velocity taken off. And it also depends on it. Yeah, he knew how to do it, but that didn't come until, you know, a couple of, you know, I think it was like three years into his professional career where he learned how to take a little bit off when he, you know, to not kill his poor receiver.
Right. Broshmo says, talking to you, totally right about Malik. He didn't play inside of structure much at Liberty and just loved throwing off that back foot. Getting to sit back and polish those lower body mechanics will go a long way. So there you go there. Let's see. I saw a comment earlier. I don't know. Ducky had said he loved Mason Kinsey, and Janet responded to him. It was funny. Let's see if I can find it here. Anyways, Janet said, I've been waiting for that from you for a while. So that's pretty funny. Oh, here it is. She says, every channel needs someone who stirs the pot. Oh, she's talking to her. You win. We love Ducky here, man. We love Ducky. He's always been loyal to us, man. Al Pierce says John Elway was the same way.
Yeah.
When it comes to
A lot of
Pelican
those
says,
a lot of those gunslingers are like that. I mean, that they
yeah,
come out and they throw the ball 200 miles an hour, and then eventually the receivers, kind of back them in a corner and say, "Look, man, you can't do that. I'm 3 feet away. I can't take a 200-mile-an-hour fastball."
right. Pelican asks, how will Malik be in a bootleg? Probably where he shines, right? I'm not sure. I'm not seeing a lot of tape on the guy.
Well, he does. He does well in a bootleg because um, you're that he's forced to kind of, when you're running, you're forced to shift your weight to your forward leg when you're making a throw. So you're not going to be able to throw off your back foot a lot. You'll see this with guys who have that issue. They're often really good and a lot more accurate when you get them out of the pocket. Um, think of Patrick Mahomes. Originally, when he first started playing, if he was in the pocket, he had some issues at times. But when they had him on the move a little bit, moving around in the pocket or whatever, where he was forced to move his feet a lot, he gets a little bit more accurate. And it's
Right.
because you're running and you're forcing. I'm moving my legs down here. You're forcing your body's forcing you to throw off the correct foot. So a lot of these guys who are traditional runners, more dual threat, as they like to be called, they are a
Uh,
lot more accurate on the run, and it's just the way it is.
um, Another thing, we'll kind of get to the defense a little bit before we wrap it up in about 10-15 minutes. The defense looked really good today. Oh, I wanted to get the Titans time, and I told him I would post this because he was with me, and he had his kind of camp notes, and we'll kind of read them off real quick. And his breakdown of camp today. Let me take this banner off of here. So kind of a lot of this stuff we've already hit on. Phillips continued press running with the first team offense. Got wide open in 2 minute 11 versus 11 drill for a long TD. Kinsey showed great concentration to pull in a tip ball for a TD in the back of the corner end zone. Tannehill threw his second pick of training camp, had the look he wanted, just overthrew Woods, and McCreary took advantage. McCreary, another guy I wanted to talk about next. Malik's footwork is looking better, but he still needs to work on his decision making. Had Kinsey open one play in the back of the end zone, but took off to the right, ended up throwing the ball away in the dirt. Didn't realize just how big of a receiver Burks is and McMath until seeing them in person today. Burks' hands are huge. Overall, defense won the day. And when it came to 2 minute 11 verse 11. So, yeah, McCreary is a guy that just continues to shine. The dude is impressive in practice. He caught the interception today. He's exciting, man. When you think back on the draft, starting to make a lot more sense now, and so
Yeah.
hopefully it'll translate into real gameplay. But Farley looks really quick. His footwork looks good to me. Like I guess the main question here is, and we won't harp on it too long, but as far as are they thinking, if you know anything about it, are they thinking about McCreary possibly starting on the outside over Farley? Is this a battle, or is this just McCreary is going to be in the slot? What's going on with that? Molden McCreary, like, do we
I
got any info on that?
I think that I don't know. I mean, I know that they really want to move their corners around a lot. So
Right.
they don't want you to see a set. Fulton's here. McCreary's here, or they don't want to see that. They want you. They want to be able to stick. Um, any guy on any guy at any time. Um, but where we've kind of had issues at times is when we've had to go to nickel. And I think McCreary solves that problem. You know, when we've had to go to nickel, we've had issues, um, just simply because we just didn't have that dependable fifth corner that was out there at all time. You know, that was out there that could be out there. It could play different spots. You go in motion, and your Z moves over to your slot. You know, now you've got an issue with clearing the mess of the middle of the field. You know, we just didn't have those guys that could see like that could make those types of plays. Now, I think with the addition of McCreary, I think they're hoping he's going to be that guy that they can say, okay, we can leave him out there most of the time. Move Fulton in, move Fulton out, depending on what the formation is. Um, so and Farley's another guy who's kind of like that too, where he's a bigger type of corner. He's what, six? Trying to think, 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", somewhere around there. He's over 6 foot tall, and that gives you some versatility. These other guys, when you start looking at them, are in 5'10", 5'11" type of range, cornerbacks. And that becomes an issue with the bigger wide receivers. So what do if you can keep Farley healthy, then I think you've got yourself kind of a winning combination there.
Yeah, it's a great problem to have. It's already, I think, it's already an instant upgrade over Jenkins. Oh, Jenkins did okay towards the end of the year, but more speed. Farley is impressive to watch, like in his drills, how he makes his cuts.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude is just super quick. And Janet says she's heading out, so they're going to be in Baltimore for the game.
Yeah.
I'll be that's going to be interesting. At least it's a preseason game, so it shouldn't be too bad. But good luck to y'all. Probably you might need to bring some security with you.
Drive safe.
I know y'all be rocking the Kinsey jersey, so I'm glad y'all are getting to go. And we'll see y'all at the Tampa game. So that'll be cool. Let's see what else we got here.
In the wide receiver room, if I'm those wide receivers, I'm not too upset any way it goes, because I think there's at least 3 of them that are not going to, that may not make the Titans team, that are going to probably get a hard look from someone else, because the Titans wide receiver room is pretty tight.
Stacked.
Yeah, it's pretty stacked. It's pretty tight. They're tightening up that wide receiver group.
Right. Power Hour's got a good comment here. He says a healthy Bud Dupree would make the defensive front a major game changer. Great show, guys. I got an early day tomorrow. Yeah. Make sure you guys tighten up that like button and subscribe. So, and I think, from what I've heard, Bud Dupree is healthy. He's feeling good. And yeah, he seems like he's good to go. He's been out there, and I'm excited to see what he's gonna bring to the table this season. He was kind of late starting last season just because the injury, but he was doing pretty well towards the end of the year, I thought. He was showing up, he was wreaking havoc. So I can't wait to see what he can do. Let's see what else we got here, man. We'll start wrapping it up soon.
That linebacker group is just stupid.
It's stout. It's stout.
It's stupid. If I'm a quarterback and I'm looking at that linebacker group, I'm going to confession before the game just to make sure I'm clear. I'm praying, Lord, please don't let them hit me too hard. So that linebacker group is just it's I just don't know how much time offenses are going to have to throw on us.
Right. This defense this season, and we've talked about it a lot. They could be something. They could be top 5, man. If you just look at what they got, look at how they played last year. If they can continue that ride, and you add in a pretty good secondary to the mix, You're talking about, man, you're talking about maybe a defense that could go back to kind of the early 2000s, the late 90s type of Titans defenses if they play to their potential. I don't see why they couldn't. Um,
You
it's
know,
going to be fun to watch, man.
you're also going to, that defense plays well. You give more chances to the offense to score. You know,
Right.
get a few picks
Exactly.
here or there, cause a few fumbles here or there, and then you get an extra possession or two in a game, and that's the game.
Yeah. Um, Something else I wanted to get to, a couple things. So after the game, I was really impressed by like the way the players reacted to the fans. I mean, a lot of them went in, and Tyler was trying to get Luan's autograph, but he said that he was like, man, I'm about to have a full body cramp. I got to go in now. I'm sorry, guys, but I know Luan is one of the ones who always typically sign. He'll come out 20-30 minutes after the game's over and walk around. He loves the fans, but Kevin Byard really impressed me today. Just seeing like how he is with the fans. It's not just like he doesn't just run through and sign. I mean, he takes pictures, talks to each fan. How you doing?
Yeah.
Talks to the kids. I mean, just a class act, man. And I've never seen it like in person. I know he's that way, but to
Yeah.
see it in person, the dude is a class act, man. I mean, he was just sitting there like me and you having a conversation with every single one,
Oh yeah.
taking pictures, signing things. I mean, it was really cool to see, and it's him being he played in Murfreesboro and stuff like that. But like I said, just to see it in person, man, he's kind of like an ambassador for the Titans now. You know,
Yeah.
um, it was all in Tannehill. He was with his family and they were yelling for him, but I was like, he was with his family throwing the ball around and stuff.
Yeah.
And he took the time out, even after that, to come over to the sidelines. He didn't get everybody, he got mostly everybody. And I think I got a picture here. This I showed it earlier, but came over. This kid was so cute, man. I mean, he was asking him about it. He's going to be a football player and blah, blah, blah. And it was just awesome. And shout out to Kinsey, too. I mean, he's a class act as well, man. Came over to me, gave me a hug, and said, thanks for all the support, shouted you out and all that stuff. So it was really cool, man, to see those guys. Phillips signed autographs. I got his autograph. I got Fulton's autograph. So they were really cool, man. They were really cool and generous when it came to that. And I applaud them and the organization for how they ran it today. I thought it was just a top-notch experience from top to bottom. If you get a chance to go, you should go. I don't know if you've signed up for the.
No, I don't. I at this point I don't have a lot of time
Right.
in my
I
schedule,
get you
so
there.
I just can't. I don't think I'm going to be able to get up there this year. Kevin Byard, he's a consummate professional. He's also the kind of guy who you want to sit down and have a beer with, and I don't know if he drinks or not, but you want to have a sit down and have a beer with, and and signing a $70 million deal probably helps the attitude a lot too. A 5 year
Yeah.
$70 million deal that would make me smile a lot and sign as many autographs as I wanted to, as I could possibly do for my hand cramped up.
How long is left on his deal? I'm not sure. He signed that deal, what, 2 years ago?
It was it 21? He signed it.
I think so. I mean, he could be one of those rare players, and Preston said this earlier,
Yeah.
that could get a third contract with the Titans,
I
He
believe he
could end his career.
becomes. I believe he becomes an unrestricted free agent in 25. I think 24 is his last year of his contract, and if they're going to re-sign him, I don't. I think it would be somewhere 24. after 24. Just simply because he's going to get so much more expensive after that.
Yeah.
And and his dead cap after 24 drops. Let me look that up. I know his dead cap after 24 drops. There. Yeah. He signed through. I think his he becomes an unrestricted free agent in 25.
Yeah.
His 20.
So, okay. So, yeah, I mean, he might be retired by then,
Yeah.
That's 3 more years. I mean, unless he's still playing at a super high level. Yeah, and Pohill brings up a good point, too. He's restructured twice already.
Yeah.
And that just shows even more of the team player he is, So that's awesome.
His restructure put his money the big money was supposed to be this year. He was supposed to make like 14 million this year. But it got moved down to 23 and 24 where he's going to be 19.6 in 23 and 17.8 in 24. So they did move it around a little bit, but I don't think salary cap is going to be a real big issue after this year because it's going to go up a lot. A lot.
You think so?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm guessing anywhere between 22 and 25 million.
Yeah. Wow.
Followed by another 20 to 22 million after that. The year after that.
Yeah. Well, we'll start wrapping it up, my friend. If y'all haven't hit the like button yet, please do. Where are we at on likes? I wanted to check if we're at we try to get to the 50 each show. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It'd be awesome if we could tonight. Let me see where we're at here. Looks like we're only at 31. So, well, maybe we'll make it after. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please tighten up that like button. I do want to give, like I said, I shouted this out in the beginning of the show. I do want to give a very special shout out to Tyler at Titans Time Podcast. If you guys have not followed him yet, please do. He's got a great show, part of the Pigskin Network. They got a great show, man. They've been doing it for a while. And yes, we did get to go into the media entrance today. And follow them on YouTube and Twitter at Titans Time, Titans_time. Give them guys a follow. They're awesome. Also, you can follow our good friend James here, who is a part of the Titan Upload Network, on YouTube, Titans for Life, and Twitter at Big Sportsman3. A couple other people. Check out Titan Anderson. He's doing the Monday shows with me. Good friend of mine. Check him out on YouTube and Twitter as well. And all the other guys out there, the 615 podcast, the Power Hour, all these other guys out there who are putting in work. We thank you guys for your support of this network. And we got some big things coming up, James. I mean, we're pretty excited about it.
Working hard on them. I got a question for you. Just how hot was it out there today?
It's hot as hell, man. It was. I couldn't imagine. That's what I told. I was like, dude, because the offensive line stood in front of us a lot of the time. I mean, they were right, and it was like, looking up at them. But I couldn't imagine being that big and doing that type of work. Now, they don't do it like they used to. I remember last time I went to training camp was probably 2002 or something.
Yeah.
And it seems like they used to go about 4 or 5 hours, or they did 2-a-days. Now they're only doing, it started at about 9:30 and they actually quit practicing, I'd say at about 11:30, 11:45. And we asked one of the workers there, do they do 2-a-days? And she said, well, they do that, and then they do a little walkthrough.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, so I think a lot of that is just the way the league is evolving, the concussion protocols. That's why they're wearing those weird things on their helmets.
Yeah.
I think it's just the league evolving and injuries and all that type of stuff, as far as
And the fact that I think they do a lot of film study. They go and they break off into their groups and their position groups and go in and it's just one of those things. When I was growing up, even in Pee Wee, what we call Pee Wee in our area was called Junior Pro. But we'd have practice, from the time we got out of school until literally till it was so dark we couldn't do anything, because we didn't have good lighting at where I was at. So yeah, I mean, these guys out there, um, there are a lot of advantages, but I also think that these guys are they're a lot smarter. Um, they're a lot smarter with their workouts over the when they're not when they're not playing football, when in the off season they're a lot smarter, they stay in shape a lot better. um so there is a big difference. um they're not out
Yeah.
eating, well, most of them aren't out eating Cheetos.
We got a question from you real quick, if you can answer it. Titan Fox said, James, what are your thoughts on the middle linebacker position? What happens if we lose Long or Cunningham?
I think we're going to be just fine. Uh, it- you can lose one. You can either lose Long or Cunningham. I don't like our prospects if we lose both,
Yeah.
but losing one, you know, is not as impactful because we didn't have Cunningham all of the entire season last year. And we still did well. And then we got Cunningham. What game was that that he came over?
I don't know. I mean, it was like halfway into the season.
Yeah,
we
it
got him?
was. I think it was not long before the trade deadline that we ended up getting him, and and he made a huge impact. But the Titans defense was playing extremely well before he got there. So my
Right.
feeling on is that we can lose one or the other, but not both, and still be fine. Um, when it comes to um, and the fact that the rest of our linebackers are so good, they can kind of make up for one of the losses.
Uh-huh.
That they're that good, and then our defensive line itself is so good that they're just they're going to wreak havoc on everyone else. So when we do decide to blitz, it's going to be it's devastating. You saw that in several games last year. We were on the quarterback just as soon as the ball was when he was in shotgun formation. So I think that we're fine. I think that if one does go down, then look for the other one to kind of play a little less. I think the defense will be a little more conservative, where they're not blitzing one or the other all the time. I think they're going to
Uh-huh.
be blitzing one or the. I think you're going to see a lot of blitzes, uh, uh, you know, late blitzes, some twists, maybe things like that. That's where I think the Titans are going to really cause some defensive coordinators sleepless night, or some offensive coordinators sleepless nights.
Right. We'll get to the last few of these comments. Let's see. Grandizer says we got 40 likes. Steve says I've subscribed to like 10 different Titans channels. That's good, man. I have too. I'm subscribed to a lot of them.
Yeah.
He says have a good night, Rossi and James. Titan Fox, and we're gonna have him on the show soon too. We were gonna do it last week and had some things come up, but he said great show, Rossi James. Thanks for being a part of it. Totally made my night. Well, I'm good, man. I'm glad. And Ducky with the comment. Good night, everyone. I hope you all sleep well and don't let the bed bugs bite. So we will end on that. We will end on Ducky's comment there. And thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned. We got some big news coming up for the network. A lot of moving parts and a lot of things happening. So you guys stay tuned for that. We will holler at you later. Tighten up.
Tighten up. Keep it real.